Where I am now, better than before. Through those open doors, where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place. I'm in a place where I am now. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, WMVA 88.9 FM studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, and guess what? You can see us live right here in the studio. And if you want to hear us all over the globe, all you have to do is to go to 1400am.com, 1350am.com, click and listen live. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It really is a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors. Let's welcome WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM, WPCE 1400 AM, WMVA 88.9 FM.
Facebook Live is on and popping. Let's also welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll shout y'all later on in the show.
You promise?
Promise. Just go to our YouTube channel, the newest one actually, at FYI Radio Show. Host Yolanda Hinton. You can always go to Crystal Records 1, CRISTO Records 1. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we promise to shout you out.
Shout out.
Mr. E.
Yes.
What day is it today?
Today is hump day.
Woo, that was a good shocking hump day for a beautiful day that the Lord has made. Isn't it nice outside? What is this? Foretaste of glory divine. It feels like spring to me, Mr. E.
Like you got a song you want to sing.
Oh, what it feel like to you out there?
It feels so wonderful out there. It's another day that the Lord has made. It's nice. It's going to be a beautiful day in Hampton Roads. And guess what? If you got anything to do today, it's only 56 degrees and sunny on the outside.
For right now. But I tell you what, it's going up higher and higher. And this week in the Hampton Roads area, we're going to hit the 70s. I love it.
That's right.
I tell you what, we're going to enjoy it while it's here. We're still in winter, not far from spring, but I tell you, whatever the Lord is doing, let him do it.
That's right.
Whatever he does, he's going to do what he does.
And he do it marvelous.
Mr. E, this is FYI's Wednesday segment, What's Under the Hat? Issues concerning you men.
That's right. What's under the hat? Yeah.
I tell you what, it's good to talk about you guys. Some people are under the impression that men don't have their fair share of stuff. I'm trying to figure out where they got that from. But we want to know if men's needs are met, especially post-election. You know, election brought on a whole lot of new and different things. A little scary, a little bit of, holding your breath and holding your nose, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. But Mr. E, in the midst of all this, what's going on with you men? What's happening?
Well, Miss Hinton, when it comes down to the post-election or the election, men has a hard time, and I
Mm-mm.
believe trying to bounce back.
Wow.
Uh,
And why is that?
some men has a tendency of saying that all I did, all I wanted to do is to go down and vote for the right person, and and now I'm seeing the repercussion of putting the wrong person there.
Well, why do you think it's the wrong person?
Well, look at the tariff and the things that are happening all over the world. They said in this article, say what's going on with the men, the growing body of evidence that men are falling behind. You can see it in education, in the labor market, and in data on drug overdoses and death by suicide.
Ooh.
They said the fact is we're having an alarming number of lonely, alienated, and disaffected young men in the country. And whatever the reason for that is, this is something we have to deal with as society.
I mean, you as a man, are you feeling it? Your peers, people that you live around, your community, men, men across the board in your church, in your work, are you all talking about things? Are you saying what you feel has gone wrong or what's not being met?
We began to talk about it as with the after the election. A lot of people was upset because we had two types of people in the community. In some community, there was some that was for the winner, and then there was some that was for someone else, for Miss Harris. But after all is said and done, it was one of the hardest things that people had to deal with, men had to deal with when it came to Miss Harris not winning.
Are you serious? You all had issues before Miss Harris,
Well,
before President Trump,
well,
before y'all. But are you saying that issues are now worse?
Well, when you look at the tariff, when you look at what's going on around the world, what's happening in sight, around the place, you'll find that it's one of the hardest things that men had to deal with when it comes to the aftermath of the election.
Well, let's look at that, but let's look at men's issue as a whole. And I just asked a question, which it's to me is a question that is not that nice.
Well,
And the reason I say that is because if you all are feeling some kind of way, I, or any other person, other woman, they don't have no any business downplaying what you all are feeling, and I think that's sometimes one of the problems with, men expressing themselves or communicating is the fact that we don't want sometimes we don't want you all to feel a certain way, and so men kind of like tuck it in their pants and say, "Hey, well, I'm not going to tell you how I feel because you're going to try to tell me how I feel."
that's right. And one of the things about busy lips is they try to tell you, fix your problem, tell you what's going on. A lot of men are trying to will talk, and someone will shut it down
Mhm.
because of the struggle. Who you don't want to hear what he got to say, or they don't want to hear what has to happen, and they pouring out their heart to you to let people know this is what my struggle is. They said 90% of men are struggling and unhappy, whether this be their career, health, or relationship.
Mhm.
There's a lot of reasons why this might be. What do you think? Well, it's because some of the same three factors that they say here. Health could be going wrong. They could be unhappy. Their careers could be failing them. So, when you look at what a man has to endure, yes, he is struggling and unhappy.
So with the after the election and the way things are going in the stock market, um, and the way things are changing, it causes men to do what? Feel what kind of way, Miss E?
Well, I can't speak for all men, but because of the struggle, because of their struggling, some of them trying to figure out how in the world they can continue to make ends meet, how they gonna get a career. You look at the fellas that now has been kicked out, the notes that they got the other day to get out the federal buildings, and they came one by one, two by two, and they figured that their careers are gone now because that's how they trying to figure out what's my next move. How I'm gonna come supply the needs of my family. How I'm gonna be able to feed my children when I don't have a job. Am I supposed to go back down to the bottom? And then when you got some men that don't have a job and folks don't understand what's going on with them, they try to say, okay, let me try to fix it myself.
Absolutely. Do men, their mental health, and like I was saying, sometimes problems have come before the election and now they have gotten greater. Men's mental health. Uh, this is what I wonder about men, Mr. E. Men talk about their mental health. Do they talk about their issues? Do men complain? I don't know if men even verbalize their complaints. What do you think?
No, I don't think they verbalize it. They ain't gonna say too much of anything because they trying to figure out what's next for them. What they gonna do about this situation? How they gonna pay their mortgages? I don't have a career. How's I'm gonna be able to pay my car payment and help pay for my children to go to college? How I'm gonna supply the needs? And yes, that causes mental breakdown on men because they don't have no job, their careers down gone bad, and not only that, and the doctor can give them some bad news about their health. Some men don't take time out to figure, well, I'm a strong man, I'm a healthy man, and the doctor just gave me some bad news. What do I do about it? How do I? Because all they're concerned about is working and supplying the needs of their family. But when you tell them they got prostrate, when you tell them they got high blood pressure, when you tell them what they need to do, they say, well, how I'm going to provide for my family.
Absolutely. And I asked the question, are men's their needs being met? And sometimes I feel like men, their needs are not being met because they're not telling what their needs are. Women, when you look at women are so verbal. They learn to come up and communicate. They learn to be sociable. They learn to express their feelings. And most women, even though we are known to suffer in silence as well, will have, a great support system. They'll have mom, aunties, they have daddy and daddy's family, and on the workforce, they're more verbal and more apt to express themselves. But men, I believe men won't get their needs met because they don't tell what their needs are. We do a show every year and we talk about men and what they want for certain occasions and things like that. We even asked our audience as we open the phone lines, and they don't express what they want and need. A lot of them will turn right to the wife, or thinking about, well, whatever I get, I'll give to her, or I don't know what I want, or you all even have a hard time expressing yourselves in that case. And so, are your needs getting met? I'm not sure, because the things that go on, issues that go on with men, in my opinion, are not expressed.
Well, when you look at a man and he's got a mate, and his mate should understand him and know how he's functioning. That's what men does. Men has mates, and they look at him, and when he look at a mate and share the time with her, she should know him. She should know him from day one. She should know what he like, what he don't like, how he function, and how he acts. She should be understanding what he's going through instead of him, because men are not the talkative one. Men are not men
when it comes to emotion and feelings.
Men don't know how to express or to explain their emotions or their feelings. Men can sometimes men can sometimes talk to a total stranger, somebody they don't even know, somebody they got a listening ear, but someone right in your own crib, in your own house, he cannot express because he thinking that you know how he's feeling.
Really? But women are not mind readers.
Well, they might not be mind readers, but they know. But women are sometimes can tell other folks how when they express their feelings to them. Some folks, some total stranger can go to a woman and express their feel, and she can listen to somebody else as feeling, but she should be able in her own home to recognize the feelings of someone else.
Hmm.
If you got somebody, here's a kicker part.
Mhm.
If some women can understand other folks' what struggles or what they're going through, if somebody, a total stranger, somebody that knows you or know of you, can sit down and talk to you. You don't even know him, but you don't know, but he can sit down and talk to you and tell you what he's going through. But then you got someone in your own house that's been around you for 10 years, 15 years, and you still don't understand what he needs.
Well, men are conditioned that way. They're conditioned young. And, wherein, we'll take a little boy, man child, and we'll say, don't cry. You're not supposed to cry. Don't, why are you angry or why, it's always don't be like that. Don't do that. It's conditioned very, very early.
That's
from
right.
My observation. And so, be a man. That's the message that's sent out by um, male and female to men and to boys. And so when they come up and it's time to express emotion, it's like what's been put in their head to think. That's what they're gonna think. They're gonna think, okay, I got to keep silent. I got to be strong. I got to be, I can't let you see me. My ego plays a part in, how I express myself. I can't see you. I don't want you to see me as weak. And so, that's another reason why men, they don't get their needs met because they're conditioned to not, want out loud or ask out loud or need out loud or hurt out loud. Um, we talked about the Women's History Month, and somebody in our research was asking why there's not Men's History Month. Why is it that you're not highlighted or celebrated in that same way? What do you think, Mr. E? Why don't they have days of celebration for men? I mean, they have Father's Day, yes,
Yeah.
and things like
They
that.
don't
But I'm
have
saying,
National Man Day. They don't have when it comes to a man is the backbone of the family. It's supposed he carried the whole world on his shoulder. So they when it comes to a man performing and doing his job or doing what he do, they should come up with a National Men Day. They should come up with things that will honor men, to allow men, not just Father's Day, but every day they should also give men props because of of the job that they're doing.
Absolutely.
And you said something just a few minutes ago. Yes, and you answered the question. Yes, men are conditioned to be men. They don't know anything else about their emotions, giving their emotions to anybody. They don't know anything because they have been conditioned that a man is not supposed to cry. A man is not supposed to share his thoughts and his feelings. And they never ask the question why I can't talk. Why I can't express my feelings. Well, when it comes to a man expressing his feeling to his mate or somebody else, he feels as if he allowing himself to share the innermost parts of him, and then you look at him kind of cross-eyed.
Wow. Do you think that men express themselves more in anger as they communicate, their needs? Do you think that men, when you see their emotions come out, is it's in anger? As I was researching it, uh, some men are saying, that's how they express themselves, and people think it's more hostile.
When they get mad, they express themselves. It's just like a drunk. A person that's on alcohol or on drugs, just like him, he expressing his sober thoughts under the influence of alcohol. That's where he get his courage from. It's saying that when a man start of expressing himself, he got his courage. He's courage there because he's angry. He's either under drugs or he's intoxicated. Now you done push that button. Now he's expressing himself and expressing himself, and what he wouldn't normally do when he wasn't under influence or angry.
Absolutely. Somebody mentioned that men are living their lives now more on social media and smartphones, and that they there's a lack of communication because they're so busy into carrying that phone around and seeing what's in there and doing whatever they do or looking at whatever they look at. They feel as though they are not really equipping themselves like in the past. And so social media have their attention.
Well, when you started looking at Generation Z, let's call them Generation Z. When you started looking at Generation Z, this young men, you'll find that Generation Z has been brought up. They have been brought up in a communication or in a technology world. So when Generation Z has been brought up in a technology world, what happens, all he know is technology. He knows how to sit there and play the game. He knows how to sit there and look at social media. And because there's no of that labor jobs that's out there. Well, all you got to do is kick him out of the house and tell him go ride a bicycle. Some men cannot ride a bicycle. Some men don't know what it is to pick up a shovel or hammer and nail. Some people never did that, but they know how to go into technology and do that technical work, social media. They know how to break down computers. They know because they spend 89% of their time on social media playing games.
Somebody asked, why are men feeling pressure when you have the woman now out in the workforce making all the money in the whole wide world? Men, you have more stay-at-home men now than you used to do, taking care of children. Where's the pressure coming from? Mr. E, home, work, the community?
Well, it's a competitive thing. It's a competition thing. Men are compatible being. They're in competition. They never want nobody to throw in their face, I don't need you. I got my own job. I make my own money and I don't need you. When it comes to a man and a woman, it's supposed to be a unit. It's not they're supposed to be together, not divided, because they decided that they were going to work together and be as one. And when a woman get to the point where she making money, and then when she get upset and she started throwing stones, she started saying, I work here, I got the money, what are you bringing to the table? Well, before then, a man used to bring it to the table, but now since women are making the do re mi and got the big jobs, and men trying to find themselves, and what they find themselves doing is doing what women used to do: keep the house, take care of the children, cut the grass, because that's what men become home husbands. House husband. That they become house husband instead of women being housewives. Men become the role switches. And when the role switches, men become house husbands and women get rid of they in the working world. Well, the society made that thing like that because there was a time where they was looking for more women. There was a minority. There was a battle. They need minority employees. They need women employees. And they said, okay, fine, let's put a woman in the place of a man.
They said there's a growing body of evidence that men are falling behind. They say you can see it in education, in the labor market, and in data on drug overdoses and deaths by suicide. It says the fact is, in this article, it says we have an alarming number of lonely, alienated, and disaffected young men in this country.
That's right.
And for whatever reason that is, there's something that society has to deal with. Although the masculinity discourse has been raging for a while, most of it's unhelpful and at best harmful at worst. Masculinity, how do you define a man? How do you define masculinity? Do men identify themselves as how they work or what they do, how many children they have, and that's fine and good. You have a good job or you doing good financially, but who are you on the inside part? And how are you dealing and coping with emotions and fears like any other human being? And so that's where some of the struggles come from, where men are not addressing their issues and things like that. And they do, some of them feel as though women are taking over or taking the roles. They're taking something from them.
That's right. They
Do
figure
you
men,
all feel like somebody's taking something from y'all?
well, for years men has been been the hard working forces for years.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I say, society has decided that they don't want the hard working men. They want to put some women out there because they don't want the hard working men out
What
there.
does that mean?
Well, men has been on top for years. They have worked their fingers down to the bone and carried
Yes.
the universe. They carried the world on their shoulder. Men had to go and look back. And now, since men had to go back and carry the world on their shoulders, what happens now, they figured, the society said, well, wait a minute. These men are getting stronger. They're still multiplying. They're getting stronger. They still multiply. Let's take the wind out of the sail. When we look into the word of God, that Pharaoh wanted to take, told the midwives that all the men get rid of them because they're multiplying too much. So now they want to put the women in the workforce and allow the women to make all the cheese and get rid of the men.
Nothing wrong with that. A woman is
But
capable
still,
of education. You see it right before your very eyes. Capable of earning all the money in the whole wide world. You
right.
see it before your very eyes. She's capable of raising children when a man is not there. She is capable of being all that in a bag of chips because God made us all to be prosper and have potential to do great things. And so, wherein, of course, men have roles, women have roles, but you cannot take away the fact that women advance because they want to advance, and God has given them knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to advance and opportunity.
That's right. But I think that if you're married to a man and you and him are to be a unit, then it should never be mine, mine, and mine. It should be our. If you look at when men was making all the big bucks, he came in, took care of the house, he took care of the children, he took care of the family, and now it's not that the role has switched because you making the cheese and he's making we still should be able to come together and take care of the whole house together.
I think that's the way it is in most households. It is a wonderful joint effort. I think it's marvelous that a woman can go out there and she can contribute to the household. I think it's wonderful that a man can take care of his children and work at home. I think that's a good fit.
That's right.
But I think men should be responsible for keeping themselves, in the scene of, in it to win it. A man has to continue to be in it to win it, but he also has to address his issues. He's got to acknowledge his issues. He has to make sure that he can find a place where he can heal and connect with God. That's one thing that men have to do because they have been so successful, they sometimes don't have a need for God. You would find women in the church, or they are more Bible based and things like that. Men are in the church, but you know that women are, and there has been a great connection with women and the church. And I think that's where it all will boil down to is getting back to God, connecting with God, and being all you can be.
I sometimes, I beg the difference because men are connected with God.
Some of them.
Some men are connected with God, and because God is a hit, they may not show it in way other folks do it by going to church, but they got their private time with the Lord. They know how to read the Word of God. They know how to pray because they was brought up. Their mamas and their daddies taught them how at young age how to bless the Lord.
Okay.
And
Well,
if some women think that men is not don't know how to pray, don't know how to connect with God, I beg the difference that men know how. They can't just do it by themselves.
Well, they're going to have to connect better because you find too many of them in jail, too many of them ain't home with the wives and family and children. They need to really connect. I tell you what, look, we'll talk to you all on Fun Friday. We're talking about women's issues. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. This FYI radio show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm at Everette. For more information, give us a call at 757-714-7861 and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Hey, yes. So we're talking about men's issues. Our men's needs being met. I hope. I tell you what. If they're not being met, they can be met, and there is a way of doing that, and that is to fight for their rights, fight for who they are, what they believe. Like I was saying, connect with God. Connect with your Maker, and let Him heal you and lead you. When you can't depend on nobody else, you can definitely depend on God to make you who you need to be and to heal your soul and your mind and things like that. Men have done well. They have had household. They have taken care. But for some reason, and we just saw in our notes that men are falling away in a sense of emotionally because they can't seem to get what they want and they can't seem to get their needs met. That's something that they are going to have to find out why and fix it.
And when you're talking about the struggle of a man, some men who has the struggle in life is because they know the things that they used to have they don't have no more. And
what's that? Like what?
But here's another thing that what we can have this. Men used to have a voice, but the voice is no longer there because they're talking to them, but they're talking to them with them, having a communication, but it takes out of proportion. It goes another direction. Men don't know how to express themselves. And when a man starts expressing himself and because she is a smart lady, she got education, when the man tried to express himself, the first thing she tried to do is belittle him. She doesn't listen. She doesn't listen to what he has to say because she wants to take over the conversation. But if you listen to a man and feel him out, if you listen to his struggle, you find out what's going on his job, what he has to deal with up and down the street, what he had to go through in life, you'll find that man, and it only takes a good woman to be able to understand what her man is going through.
Well, put the woman aside and let's say, men, take care of your own business, heal and be what you want to be. The connection with God is key. And then, get your needs met. It's not always going to be through somebody helping you to get your needs met. It's you going out there and get your needs. We talk about women. We've talked about women's movement. We're going to be talking about that on Friday. It's like when a need is not being fulfilled or when you want something, women usually go after it. They go in some kind of way. In some kind of way, they're going to try to get their needs met. And I just, hope and pray for men as they struggle in a society where it is changing, where it's unpredictable, where their jobs are being threatened and things like that, that they will find some kind of way to not fall away. They said in our information they've somewhat have fallen away, and we don't want men to fall away. We want men to uh, be the best that they can be as men, not as a partner or anything, but as men. First of all, to be whole, and we all have to be whole. We all are in a place where we need to be better, and it takes God to make us all better. I think we
Do
all have to find God.
do you think, here's a question for you. Do you think that in the household with men that their rights has been taken away from them because they try to discipline the child, but when they say something to it or to the child, the mama pats him back up? Or do you think that they don't want the daddy in their lives, that they already said to the child, your daddy ain't no good, your daddy never amount to anything, he's a deadbeat daddy, and really daddy is not a deadbeat daddy. Maybe mom and daddy couldn't get it together. They couldn't get along. Do you think that when a child needs something and daddy says no, but he turned to mama and mama says yes,
Mm.
I can do this? Do you think that that causes men to feel some kind of way, like he has no backing? I'm dealing with a situation sometimes where a man don't like a dog in his house,
Mhm.
but a woman brings the dog in the house anyway, regardless of what he says, whether or not he said. Now he don't want to go to the, some men don't want to go in there and fist the cup and argue and holler
Mhm.
and scream, and that should be respect. If he don't want none in his crib, he should be respected, and they should be able to come together and be on equal terms. Not him saying, if he don't want children, if he don't want the children to stay over, why say yes they stay over when it's supposed to be a joint effort? When you take and turn someone down, when you tell that boy, I'm gonna whip you or discipline you, mama should never go around and pamper him up after he's getting and try to explain the reason why. So that taking away the strength of the unity of a man. When a woman's supposed to have a man's back, she's supposed to back him 100. Either if it's with the children, if he don't want to buy them sneakers and don't want them to have, don't get him. But when you turn around and go behind a man's back and you get those sneakers and you go ahead and take care of the child, that makes a man
Mhm.
feel some kind of way.
Mhm.
And it's
Absolutely.
taking away his authority. Well, so he's
Mhm.
saying the devil with this. Maybe there's somebody out there that so he's ready to throw the towel up. And because he's sick and tired of going through that warfare at home. He got to fight
Mhm.
at home. He's got to fight in the streets. He
Yes.
got to fight coming up and down the street. Well, maybe he's sick and tired
Mhm.
of fighting. He cannot think without fighting.
Absolutely.
So
And that was our topic. Our men needs being met. Can they get what they need at home? Can they get what they need on the job? Can they get in the street? Can they, wherever they go, or are they blocked? Are their emotions blocked? Are they, molded? People want to mold and make a man what they think a man
that's right.
should be.
And
And
he can't be
so
himself.
and
Yeah,
so we've got to think about that because, like I said, we don't want men falling by the wayside emotionally or anything. We want them to stay strong. And
that's
so
right.
let's take time, ladies, and people as a whole, to see how we can get better at understanding our young boys,
That's right.
how we can teach them how to communicate,
That's right.
and how we can understand our men and their struggle, so they can have what they need in life.
You know so many women, and I know we got to go. There are so many men out there that the slogan says anybody can be a daddy, and that's a true statement. But can't no anybody be a mama. I can't know anybody. A man cannot have a child but he can take care of child, somebody
Mhm.
else's child, as well as his birth child. He can take care, but anybody can come into a woman's life and take care of child. Anybody can be a daddy, but can't no anybody be a mama. It's just that I think that we have to pull together and stop.
Mhm.
That we can keep these men out being in the bars, or out drinking, looking,
Mhm.
stop smoking that dope. If they had a strong back, and once a man leave his mama, the Bible says he must leave his mother and his father and cleave to his house. And
Mhm.
once a man leaves, the only help that he has is her. And she's got to take the time or understand who he may be to help him rise above instead of kicking him down.
One thought before we leave: a man and a woman, as they come together, raise a family, you've got to be careful that you're not doing the job of the enemy, and that is tearing your marriage and your relationship apart. And that's what we find out. You don't have to worry about the devil no more because you're so busy tearing each other down.
That's right.
And you won't don't understand that you have to really come together in order for things to stay right, for things to stay whole and get and stay on the right track. You know, pointing and blaming is one thing we do, but letting the devil in is something that we have welcomed, just like Adam and Eve. Eve welcomed the devil, then she takes it to them, and the devil tears that relationship apart. Make sure you don't let the devil blow your mind,
That's right.
or don't let him use you to tear up your family. Some of these things are so little and petty, and some of these things don't even have to be argued about and all that stuff, but we take the time to get in our feelings, and that's when we go wrong. We get in our feelings sometimes, and we don't see that it's not just feelings, it's the enemy that's trying to tear lives and family down. But look, don't forget to follow us on social media. Don't forget, we got some upcoming shows: immigration, trafficking. Miss Serena Mann is going to be with us as well. And Mr. E has a special guest for our trafficking piece. Sports Talk, FY After Dark. And you can also be a special guest internal sponsor. FYI, Mr. E has the T.
If you want to be an internal sponsor, all you have to do is give us a call at 757-714-7861, or email us at FYIRadiosHowLive@gmail.com. Thank you so very, very much for tuning into the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. Have a wonderful day, okay?
Good morning, Sheila Robbins. Good to see you, and all you all that are on. Bless you. Thank you so much for your support. We're going to see you on Fun Friday. Bye now. Sue.